My Dress Up Darling is one of those series that surprised me with how popular it got. Like, I knew it was going to be a decently popular show, as most shows like this usually are, for one pretty obvious reason. However, My Dress Up Darling even surpassed all of those and is an extremely popular series beyond what I expected. So I want to talk about what exactly made this series more appealing to people than series like, say, Nagatoro or Komi Can't Communicate. But before we get there, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. I make new anime and manga content every week, so if you're interested, hit that red button next to my name so you can always get content to watch. Alright, so what is it that makes My Dress Up Darling more popular than its contemporaries? Answering that question is going to be a bit tough because most of the shows have the exact same appeal as each other, at least initially. However, I think there is one thing that My Dress Up Darling does really well that the others in the similar genre just don't do as well, and that's its story. Don't get me wrong, the story of at least the other two I mentioned earlier, Komi and Nagatoro, are good. The difference, at least so far, how it seems to be going, is that both of those series have dragged on for a while because of the nature of the types of series that they are. Whereas My Dress Up Darling has the capability to drag itself out for a while for sure, but it doesn't seem to be taking that route as all the developments in the series would suggest. I think that the story complements everything else in the series nicely as well and makes the series really fun to watch. The initial appeal of the series, before you even know anything about it, should be quite obvious. A gyaru girl dressing up in cosplay. I mean, come on, that has a major appeal to a certain demographic of people, and that group is definitely watching this anime, and they're probably reading the manga too. There's a lot that My Dress Up Darling does really well besides just the story that I want to bring up in this video. This series hits on a lot of different appeals to a wide range of people, and that to me is the big reason as to why this series is so much bigger than its contemporaries and why it will be that way for a very long time. My Dress Up Darling does characters extremely well. The way that the character writing in the series is handled is extremely good. All of the characters have their own passions, their own hobbies, and are just interested in different things altogether. But they are still able to come together and be good friends because they don't judge somebody's hobby or passion, which I love, and I think a lot of other people love as well. All the relationships with the characters are developed really well, and that makes the interactions great. All the characters really do feel like real friends, just talking about their hobbies, supporting each other, and having a good time. The characters are for sure the best part of the series, as it makes everything going on really just click. The romance in the series is your typical anime/manga romance, but it's still great to see the development of the romance as we get further along into the series. The character designs are also great, although they would have to be with a concept like this one, but they do all look really good. They fit the aesthetic that they are going for and make everything work together nicely. The characters are the best part of this series for sure, and a big part of the appeal of this series, as there are a lot of things that caught people off guard with this series, I'm sure. The setting of the series is great. It's just your typical Japanese city, but they visit a lot of places. The doll shop is also really cool. There's a lot of appeal to the setting of My Dress Up Darling. Everything just comes together to make the whole story flow together nicely. The locations they visit help to enhance their relationships as well as push the story forward. There's a lot about the setting of the series that just works really well. Somewhere down the road of this series, I'm sure things will get better as they go to more conventions or more unique shops as well as meeting new people. Once all of that happens, this series will be an even better series to sit down and either watch or read, and will boost the appeal of this series tenfold from what it already is. So yeah, the setting is extremely important and helps to boost the appeal of this series a lot for sure. The animation in this series is something that I think got everyone off guard. Typically, these types of series look okay at best in the animation department, but My Dress Up Darling really went out of its way to make itself look amazing. The animation is on point and it really enhances the original manga in so many ways. The art in this series also looks amazing. The characters look great and the backgrounds also look good. Everything in the series just looks good and works well to enhance the overall story of My Dress Up Darling, and I love it. The music in My Dress Up Darling is amazing. It enhances all of the scenes perfectly. If they want you to feel sad, you will. If they want you to feel the romantic tension, then you will. The music is used perfectly in this series to enhance all of the scenes. The OP also sounds awesome and fits the series really well. It gets you ready to watch another episode of the series. The entire soundtrack for My Dress Up Darling is amazing, and just listening to it on its own leaves you with so many banger pieces of music. The biggest appeal of My Dress Up Darling should be quite obvious. However, once you get into this series, you will be rewarded with much more than you originally wanted from this series. To well-written and compelling characters, to a really interesting story that explores the themes of expressing yourself through your hobbies. This series has struck a chord with so many people in so many ways, and I think that is the biggest reason as to why this series got so popular in comparison to most of its other contemporaries. I recommend that you give this series a shot as well if you haven't, because there is something for everyone in this series, so I know you will enjoy this series like everyone else has.